This ugly knee protector is the reason why I can still play violin today. Do you want to know why? Then keep on watching. Hello there, my name is Saskia, I'm a violinist and I talk about music. Welcome back to this channel. It's been a while. Let's just say that 2021 wasn't a very easy year for me and for a lot of other people too, but I'm doing a bit better right now and I felt like hanging out with you because I wanted to talk about a very important topic today, which is injuries. Yay! No, all jokes aside, if you're going through it right now, know that you're not alone and that it's very difficult, but I really hope for you that you will find a solution and maybe this video will help you a bit, both mentally and maybe physically too. Musicians don't talk a lot about injuries, although there are people that mentioned in my Instagram stories that they felt comfortable talking about them, so it depends. It depends on the people you're surrounded with. I've seen people that kept playing in orchestras because they felt that there wasn't space to talk about their injuries because they needed the money or they needed the network. This, of course, in an ideal world shouldn't be necessary. If you know someone that's struggling with an injury, please send them this video because I think it could be helpful for them to hear my story and tips I will share in the end. Quick disclaimer, I'm obviously not a doctor, so this is not official medical advice in any way. If you experience pain, please make an appointment with an actual doctor. I suggest that you get a nice cup of tea. I'm drinking lemon and ginger tea by Clipper, and because I've had to reshot the intro a couple of times, the tea is very strong right now. So let's get into this video. 7 years ago, when I was 20 years old, I was in my second year of my bachelor's. Is that right? Yeah. And I began to experience pain in my little finger just after the Christmas holidays. And that was weird because I wasn't really playing very challenging repertoire for the violin. I remember that I was playing Prokofiev sonata for violin and piano, which is beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I was working on a sonata program together with the pianist because we had some concerts together and I started to feel weird pain in my pinky. It was not really stinging pain, sometimes it was, but it just felt uncomfortable. And as the days went by, I experienced the pain even more. I also started to notice that it would hurt more in the morning than in the evenings, which also confused me a lot. And naturally, I stopped playing the violin. I think I stopped for a week and I still had the pain. My teacher back then advised me to go to an orthopedic surgeon, and he told me that the waiting list was quite long. So I looked for different solutions because I felt that I needed help immediately. And so I went to a physiotherapist for musicians. He played the trumpet himself, so I trusted this man with my problem, and I think it's really good if you trust your doctors when they help you, of course. So I told him, like I'm telling you now, what was going on and that I couldn't play without pain. He really looked at my finger, he gave me a lot of exercises, and I remember that I also had to tape my little finger. It was pink tape to support the muscles. I followed his advice and I could play the violin, but the pain was still there and sometimes it was getting more stingy, so that alarmed me quite a lot. But I wanted to really give it a chance and do all the exercises. It was like a lot of massaging the fingers, and I think I stayed with that physiotherapist for 2 months. then I became a bit impatient. In hindsight, I wished I would have gotten a second opinion earlier than I did back then, because then I followed the advice of my violin teacher and I went to the orthopedic surgeon. So it really took a long time for me to get to this surgeon. It's like a specialized part in the hospital in The Hague in the Netherlands, where they specialize in musicians and dancers, because we have quite a lot of injuries. I went there and I had to answer a lot of questions for 1 hour. This surgeon was a really nice man. I remember that he had a really funny bow tie with birds on it, and he has a nice moustache. He checked my posture when I was playing the violin, so it was nice to bring my instrument as well. And he said that there's nothing wrong. After 1 hour, and this is a very important moment, he asked me, in which position do you sleep? And I was surprised, because why would that be important? But he asked the question because I mentioned that I had more pain in the morning. And that was kind of a sign for him. So I mentioned to him that I always sleep with my blanket around my hands, because I'm always cold in bed. I hold it like this, or I sleep like this, or this, especially this, because it was my left hand. And then he said, well, then I know the cause of the problem. I was like, you're joking, right? No, it's because you sleep in wrong position. The nerves that are connected to your pinky go all the way through your arm. The core of the problem is actually my elbow, but the pain was located in my pinky. And when he got like a needle, he first poked it in my right arm and it felt, normal. But when he poked it into this elbow, it really hurt. It was such a different feeling, and my mind was blown. We found the cause of the pain, and I think that's very crucial to dealing with injuries. And I want to emphasize it, that if you experience pain, it doesn't necessarily mean that the pain is only happening where you feel it. The problem can be somewhere else. And this physiotherapist focused on the pain and my pinky, but because we were looking for the cause of the pain, we actually found out that the problem was my sleeping position and my elbow. So this nerve that's connected from your pinky to your elbow and all the way back into your body, it gets stretched out a lot, and so it's irritated, and that results into pain in my little finger. This was a real breakthrough moment, and he advised me to sleep with this knee protector. So I wear it like this, with the plastic side inward, so I can't really bend my arm more than this. And strangely enough, it works. After 2 weeks of sleeping with this protector, the pain went away, and it was such a big relief, because I was already in this mode like, okay, if he can't find the solution, what am I going to do then? Do I have to reconsider becoming a musician? Can I play violin in the future? And just within 1 hour, we found the problem and the solution. And I know this is not the case for everyone. Some people have to search for years and work on it for years, and they can't find the solution, which is really unfortunate. But I think by looking for the cause, that's really important. But again, I'm not a doctor, so this is only my experience. The second advice was to only play violin for 5 minutes. So I really had to set a timer on my phone. And then when the timer went off, I put down my violin for 30 seconds, just relax a little bit. And then I would continue practicing. And I could build up these minutes. So after a while, I started playing 7 minutes and then 10 minutes. Those were the 2 things that got rid of my injury. As promised, I will share tips about dealing with injuries or preventing them. If your pain doesn't go away in 2 days of complete rest, please go to a doctor. I see so many musicians who continue playing through pain, and it's really not a good idea. Taking breaks during practicing is extremely important, not only for your brain because you're focusing so much, but also for your body. We tend to practice a lot of the same really small movements, and this is prone to injuries. Don't get scared, of course, but I set a timer. I use the Pomodoro timer. You can get it at any Google Play Store or App Store. That means that you practice for 25 minutes and then you put away your instrument for 5 minutes and do something else. And the last tip is, and I will say this in Dutch, voorkomen is beter dan genezen, which means preventing an injury is better than healing from an injury. If you put all the effort in warming up well, trying to be mindful when you practice, try to listen to your body, learn different techniques. There are a lot of people that benefit a lot from the Alexander technique or yoga. If you start practicing when you aren't warmed up at all, it's like someone that runs a marathon without properly warming up. It just doesn't make sense. When I had the injury, it was really difficult to deal with it physically, but I also want to talk a bit about the mental part of experiencing an injury, especially if you're a musician. It was a really difficult period in my life because I was in my second year of my music studies, and after a while, after realizing that the problem won't just go away, I started to think about other studies I could do, which is for some people very difficult. If you had the wish to become a professional musician for a long time. I personally had that wish since I was 13, 14 years old, and then this happens. So I felt alone because back then everyone continued with their lives, which I understand, of course. But I couldn't do a lot. I didn't know what to do. I advise people who are going through it to find something else that's sort of productive to fill your time. I actually got my driver's license in 3 weeks. I thought, well, if I'm not going to play violin, why don't I go for my driver's license and follow a fast track course? So I drove the car for 4 hours a day, and then after 3 weeks I did my exam and I passed it. So I was really really happy with that, and it was a good investment of my time. But if you're not feeling like doing anything, then please don't feel pressure to do so. And if you know someone that's going through this, then send them a message from time to time. Check in on them, how they are feeling. If you maybe hang out with them, because yeah, it feels like time is going by really slow, and yeah, it was just very difficult, and I'm happy it's over. If you have other tips for people about preventing or dealing with an injury, then leave them down in the comments. I always read all the comments and I try to reply to everyone. What would really help me is if you leave a suggestion of a topic you want me to talk about. My favorite way of connecting with you is on Instagram. This app provides a lot of possibilities to talk in our music community. If you are not following me there, please do so and say hi. Thank you for watching this video. Have a wonderful day and see you in the next one. Doei!